Hi everyone, this is Amanda from Salty North Studio, and today we're going to be making a really cute summer graphic using layer masks. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is create a brand new document that's screen size. I have the color palette to this tutorial in the description if you'd like to download it and follow along directly. Otherwise, you can use your own colors. So the first thing that I'm going to do is set my first color to this darker purple and add text. I'm going to double click the caps lock and type out the word summer. I'm going to go to edit style and choose DIN condensed. I think that's a default that everybody should have, and it's bold. I'm going to put the size up to about 300. Pretty close. And I'm going to click done so that I can shrink this down and show you. There's a little gap in between both of our lines here. So you want the word summer to be broken down into two lines, and we want to edit this gap. So I'm going to go back to edit text, and this is in our leading here. So we are going to bring this leading down to about 40. Okay. 42 is where mine's at. So we're gonna bump this up now, and it looks pretty centered already. I'm gonna create a new layer on top of this layer and choose my lighter maroon color. And in the Procreate app, there's a brush called custom lettering. That's what I'm gonna be using to write out the word welcome. So if you want to grab that brush and put the size up to about 20 and go ahead and write out your word welcome. So I wrote out my word welcome, and I added a little flowy part right here that I want to do on this side as well. So I'm going to go to this side, and I'm going to just do the best I can to make it look natural. So the next thing I want to do is position welcome so that these little loops are kind of overlapping the summer text layers. So it's kind of already doing that for me here, and I really don't think I have to change the position by much. And if you move it and you see that the swoosh on one of or both of your sides aren't meeting the end of your artboard, you can go ahead and select both of your layers and resize it, and make sure that this is selected uniform so that you're not skewing your artwork. So that looks good. So now we're going to select our welcome layer and click mask. This is where the layer mask fun begins. So the way I can remember this is black blocks and white is a window. So if we select, and I'm just going to zoom in as an example so that you can see, if we select our truest black and we paint over our word here, it's just erasing our welcome layer, and it's non-destructive. So that means if I change my mind, I can come back to this file and select white, which is a window, and bring it back. And it brings back exactly what I had before. So this is important if you're trying to preserve layers or you think you might want to go back and make some changes. But in this case, what we're going to do is click the black selection here and hide parts of our words so that it looks like it's looping in and out of the S and the U and kind of going behind and in front of the M, the E, and the R. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to select my welcome again, and I'm going to add another layer, and this time we're going to add a clipping mask. And this ensures that whatever I'm drawing, for example, if I'm drawing with yellow, it's just within the strokes that we made on that layer. So the goal for this is to make some really believable shadows so that it actually looks like the word is weaving in and out of itself and the other letters. So I'm going to select the color that I used to write out the word welcome, and I'm going to set this layer to multiply. I'm going to go into my brushes and click airbrushes and choose the soft brush. This is a brush that comes with Procreate, so you should definitely have it. I'm just going to go in and create some shadows where I think it makes the most sense. And if you think some of your shadows are way too thick and you just feel like you can't get it right, you can always set your eraser to the airbrush that you're using and go back in and just dim it down a little bit. So I think that this looks really good, and now I want to make it even more believable and add some shadows to the word summer where this text is actually coming in front of. So I'm going to click summer, and I'm going to add a layer and do the same exact thing and create a clipping mask. And that's going to ensure that everything we paint is only painting on those letters. So I'm going to select that same color that we typed it out with, set it to multiply, and make sure that we're painting with the airbrush. And I'm just going to go in and make those believable shadows. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is add in our fun summer background. So I'm going to select the background color and click the yellow base color that we're going to use. And I'm going to add a layer on top of our background color, and we're going to add in those pink and red hues that you saw in the beginning graphic. So we're going to stay on our soft brush and make it pretty large. I'm going to pinch out a little bit and select this pink color and start airbrushing in a nice fade. Cool. So now we're going to make the shadow for the last 3 letters here in the word summer. So we're going to duplicate this text layer, and we're going to select it and move it away so that we can see what we're doing. And I'm going to choose to flip it, and I'm going to move it all the way down, and I should probably move this up for you. We're going to line it directly up, and we're going to select it again, and we're going to click warp. So I'm going to taper it off to the left a little bit, take each of these points a little bit that way, and then move it back, and just kind of keep doing that until you find a decent balance. So now we're going to go into our adjustments and use the Gaussian blur, and we're going to move it to the right, and I'd say probably until you're about let's see, I'm at 7.5%. So I'm gonna select it again and I'm going to click freeform, and I'm just gonna drag this top up a little so that it's meeting the bottom of the letters. So that looks pretty good. I also want to add a little palm frond in the corner here to make it look a little bit more summery. So we can select our airbrush background layer, create a new layer above that one, and select our dark purple. And the brush I'm using for this is a water brush that I purchased, and I believe I purchased it from Bardot Brush. So you can kind of experiment with what Procreate has. But I'm just gonna kind of go off in this right corner and taper the pressure, and then add the little fronds. And I'm going to do the same thing with this and apply the Gaussian blur so that it's just out of focus. And we can reposition that in any way you'd like. And the last little touch that I'm going to add is little luminant lights behind all of the letters. So I'm going to create a new layer, and this is going to be behind everything that we've done. And go to the luminance brush set right here, and it's called Bokeh Lights. I'm gonna set my color to white and set the size to at least 30, and just kind of go in from each corner and just kind of vary your pressure a little bit. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and please don't forget to follow me on Instagram and subscribe to my channel.